Hello. I just wanted to film this little video because I finished the Clockwork Prince yesterday at like 12 a.m. and it was a good book, a 4 stars I guess, but I also had some things that were wrong with it and I just kind of wanted to talk about that. It's like 8 o'clock. I've been wanting to talk about this book for like a very long time, since last night when I finished it at 12 a.m. and that's not a very long time, that's like a day. There's a reread of this book that I read in middle school and then I reread it again just now. And like, I just had some thoughts and I was like, why not just make a video out of it, because I wanted to discuss it and then see if other people thought the same. So like, if you have any discussion topics you want to talk about this book, then like let me know, because I just genuinely want to know what people's thoughts are. Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare is book 2 of the series Infernal Devices, and this is basically her second published trilogy after The Mortal Instruments. I've been reading a lot of romance and contemporary and I just wasn't feeling that anymore, so I picked up Clockwork Prince. I keep like hitting the book and I just don't know why. Anyways, let's put it down so I just stop doing that. Oh, also, before I put this back here, I annotated this book, and this is the first book I've ever like seriously annotated. Like, I've always done the underlining and like just writing in the margins and all that stuff, but then I never actually annotated a book, and it was so satisfying. It was just so fun, and I feel like just annotating the book makes you think a lot more about it, and I really enjoyed that aspect. Just some things that I want to talk about. So first off, I know a lot of people love the book and they absolutely adore the series, and this was a reread for me. So the first time I read it, I feel like I just didn't know how to rate things, or like I didn't understand what a good book was, so then I always was like, ooh, 5 out of 5 stars, ooh, it's so good, it's so good. But then I slowly realized that like, it's not amazing, it's a good book. I think it pulled through towards the end. Oh, also, this is gonna have a lot of spoilers in it, so like, this is basically a whole thing, a discussion with spoilers. If you haven't read the book, which I'm pretty sure everybody and their mother has, but if you haven't, then don't watch this video. So I was reading the book, and the first, like, I feel like I need to look at it. Okay, so like, this much of the book felt like this much compared to this much felt super, I don't want to say unnecessary, but super filler. I just felt like I wasn't too caught up in the story. Obviously I kept on reading because I love the characters, and that's what kept me interested, because like Jem and Will and Tessa, they're interesting. Tessa, we'll talk about her later, but I just felt like the beginning parts, like nothing really happened. Like, things were happening, but they were slowly finding out information about Mortman and the Infernal Devices and whatever, like all very slowly, and like those things were things that could have been found out all in one go. Some of the parts were kind of predictable. I didn't think we needed most of the beginning plot. I feel like too much was happening where like, it was so repetitive, where they would be at the institute, they would feel a bunch of feelings, and then they'd go to like a party or like something where they discover one thing about a person, and then they come back, and then they go back, and then go to a different party or go to meet someone, and then they come back. Stuff like that, where I was like, this is like so repetitive. It wasn't really anything interesting. I just didn't find it interesting at all. I'm currently reading Clockwork Princess, and more things are happening right off the bat than this book combined. The fact that like we were talking about Mortman and trying to find Mortman, and that was like the entire goal of the book, and then they didn't find Mortman, but they did find Will's family, which I was like, that was interesting. Things like that, where I was like, they found a piece of information and then they didn't apply it to anything. And I get that all of this would have been applied in the last book, Clockwork Princess, but if some of it were to be applied in Clockwork Prince, then this would have been a much more interesting read. The way Cassandra Clare like writes her characters, and the way she writes the romantic part of the book, is what made me want to read it more, because I love the Tessa Jem, Tessa Will thing. Actually, Okay, I don't think I love the love triangle that much because maybe that's just a me thing where I'm not into love triangles, but I am into the ones in Twilight, so I don't really know what I'm trying to say. I wasn't really into this love triangle because I just felt like, I don't know, like Jem, everybody loves Jem. See, that's the thing, I don't want to hate on Jem because everyone loves Jem, and I understand why people love Jem. Jem is so nice, he's so kind, he's so sweet, he's so cute, whatever, and I get that. But I stan Will. Like, Will was the one that was a more complex character, and I just loved how much his character was developed and how many secrets he had. With Jem, he had one secret about the drug, and we find that out in the first book, and then after that he's just this silent, compassionate, kind character, which I like. He's a good boy, he's very nice, he's very kind. However, I just don't find him interesting. It was like every time Tessa was like, oh my gosh, Jem, oh my gosh, Will, I was like Will, and like not Jem. Like, Jem's obviously the nicer choice, but Will's the one that you actually relate to, because Will and her read all the books, and like they were snarky to each other, and like that made them lovable, and it was cute and whatever. So I just didn't like Jem that much. I think I like Jem overall. I like Jem overall, but if I were to choose between Jem and Will, I definitely like Will better for his complexities and just the way that he has to deal with the fact that he can't love anyone because of his curse. His curse was like the one that's like, he's trying so hard, like, you know, he's a nice person, you know he loves everyone, but he can't show that love, or he can't be nice to people, and he has to drive everyone away. And that's such a more compelling character to listen to and to read and to love. Obviously they don't know that, and I understand Tessa's thing, but yeah, that's my thing on Will and Jem. Okay, I found Tessa kind of annoying, just a little bit, because she like kept on talking about both of these boys and then kept on kissing them, and then she just kept talking about the boys as if, oh, does he love me, does he love me, like what feelings do they share, like what do they, like how do they feel about me. Like, that was such stupid crap because it was so obvious that both of them liked her. So I don't know why she was questioning that, but then also just being annoying and being like, oh, like, I don't know, like, who I should pick, like, stuff like that. Like, I don't know, it just made her whiny, and I just felt like she was complaining a little bit too much, and I just found her just a little bit annoying. So now that I've got all the hate about the characters out of the way, because I'm probably gonna get a bunch of disagreement about this and people saying they love Jem, they love Tessa, which I understand. When I was in middle school, I absolutely loved the characters, but then now I'm just not as interested, and I can't help that. Anyways, ooh, I love Charlotte. I just wanted to say that. I just love how strong she is. She's such a strong female character, and I just love how, like, even when she's strong, like, Cassandra Clare was like, okay, here's a strong character, here's a strong woman, but then also let's show her doubts, let's show the things that she's scared of and her fear. She's just not a strong woman, she also has doubts just like everyone else, and that's okay. And just her stuff with Henry, I was like, wow, I love these two. I just thought Henry and her were just amazing. I'm just gonna look through the book to see what else I can talk about because I'm forgetting everything. I never liked Jessamine. She wasn't that cool. Sophie I liked. Sophie's cool. I just wanted to talk about this little section that Will told Tessa. There was this little part where he professes love after he found out that the curse wasn't actually a curse, which kind of obvious, kind of not obvious. Maybe because I've read the book, I don't know. I can't talk about if the plot was obvious or not because I've already read the books, but they do feel a little obvious. Anyways, we'll get back to this. Okay, he's talking about the journal entries that Tessa made when she was stuck with the Dark Sisters, and then how he'd read all of them and kept them. I pulled them out of the fire myself. I read them all, every word you wrote. You and I, Tess, were alike. We live and breathe words. It was books that kept me from taking my own life after I thought I could never love anyone, never be loved by anyone again. It was books that made me feel that perhaps I was not completely alone. They could be honest with me and I with them. Reading your words, what you wrote, how you were lonely sometimes and afraid, but always brave, the way you saw the words, its colors and textures and sounds. I felt the way you thought, hoped, felt, dreamed. I felt I was dreaming and thinking and feeling with you. I dreamed what you dreamed, wanted what you wanted, and then I realized that truly I just wanted you, the girl behind the scrawled letters. I loved you from the moment I read them. I love you still. I just like that part because it was like talking about the fact that like she reads, he reads, fall in love already, and then also just the way he like completely understood her because of those letters. Obviously he had a little bit of an advantage compared to Jem because he actually read the letters, but I just think the way Will went full force into finding out everything about her and loving her and being passionate about her regardless of the fact that he couldn't have her was awesome. Like, he couldn't show any of these emotions, but he was putting all these emotions and feeling them himself without actually showing them outwardly, which I loved. I just loved everything about that. I just loved his confession, and I was like, Tessa, like, he obviously loves you, like, it's obvious. And just love him back. Like, why is it so hard to love him back? I also love the way that Will and Tessa, like, they share quotes with each other. I think that's really cute. I just think that's such, like, an added bonus. And that's the thing that I'm saying. Will and Tessa had so much more chemistry than Jem and Will. I mean, Jem and Tessa. Because, like, Jem was just there to, like, fall in love with her from afar. But I felt like Will really got to realize who she was and, like, really learned more about her, while Jem just kind of sat on the sidelines and was like, ooh, you're a pretty girl, let me fall in love with you now. Obviously he loved her smartness and her wisdom and, like, everything about her and her, like, attitude to question everything, which I also loved, but I just loved Will way more for Tessa. Some of my favorite moments, I loved when Charlotte announced that she was pregnant, and then Henry's like, Buford, like, that's what we're naming our kid, little Buford. Like, that was very cute. And then also when Charlotte and Henry hash it out, and then they're like talking about why they love each other and if they actually love each other at all. I thought, super cool moment, super cute. When Magnus showed up, I was like, ooh, I love any moments where he shows up. I just want him in the entire book. I think I'm gonna read the Red Scrolls of Magic at some point. Probably not now, but at some point I'm gonna read it, and it's gonna be great. So yeah, I just really love Magnus, and I think everybody loves Magnus, but there's a good reason. He's such a cool character. He's so, like, playful and, like, funny at times, but then at the same time he's, like, slowly falling in with Will just a little bit, and those parts I was like, ooh, tea. Whenever Will and Tessa start making out at the Lightwood Manor, then Magnus comes along and, like, ruins their vibe by being like, hey, the stuff you drank, that makes you lower your inhibitions, and, like, that makes you do things you normally wouldn't do. That was kind of funny. I was also like, oof, like, sad for them, and that they thought that was real. And, like, see, that's the thing about Will and Tessa. Their love story is just built so much more. And I get that, because that's, like, the whole point. And that's what I think Cassandra Clare does so freaking well. I give it 4 stars because the ending pulled through. I feel like the ending of Cassandra Clare's novels are, like, where most of the important stuff happens. ASMR. You see all these, like, discovering things in the beginning in her, like, filler middle books, and then finally at the end, like, the last 100 or 50 pages, things are actually happening, and, like, there's actual events to the novel that, like, mean something. I always get caught up in the end, and then I rate the book much higher than I actually believe it is, and it's a little problem of mine, but, like, I think it's okay because I like the writing in general. I just like the writing of all of it. I think at times I feel like everything's just a little too descriptive, and I get lost and I kind of skim the pages, and then I have to go back and read them over again because I obviously don't want to skip any of the words, but sometimes I just feel like putting down the book. But at the same time, she kind of pulls through with the romance and the overall plot and, like, the little, like, surprise things that happen. She pulled through with that. That's all I have to say. I just had a little things that I wanted to talk about and discuss, and I hope that other people either agree or disagree with me. Regardless of what you think, please let me know, because I want to know your insight on the book. And, like, I just want to have a little discussion, because Clockwork Prince is a very popular novel in the booktube community and in the book space in general. And I just feel like reading it now is a whole different experience than when I read it when it was coming out. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. If this was like rambly, I'm sorry. I just had some stuff to say and this isn't really like a clear, organized video. I had some thoughts and I just wanted to say them and then put them on a camera and then put them out into the world so then other people can agree or disagree with me and then I can get their thoughts because that's what booktube is for and I love talking to people about books. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully be coming out with a vlog for the Tome Topple or the Indian Readathon. If I already came out with those, great. If I didn't, I hopefully will be posting those, and that's pretty much it.